I'll be serving as your master of ceremonies this evening as we honor both athletic contribution and excellence. This event continues to be an event that all of us in the athletic department look forward to each year. This is my 29th dinner that I've been a part of, and I continue to honor and enjoy what this event means to each and every person here in attendance. There's an additional boost to this year's dinner in that we are celebrating 100 years of athletics here at John Carroll University. Absolutely. This is our opportunity to reflect back on an amazing athletic history. And there is history throughout this room tonight. No one in the history of John Carroll men's swimming and diving has won more league titles than our next inductee. Out of a possible 28 league championship races, Jim Petkunas won 24 times. Adding up all his performances in 4 years, he was a 15-time OAC relay champion and a 9-time OAC individual champion. His domain was the butterfly, as he was the OAC champion at both the 100 and 200 distances all 4 years in which he competed. Jim was a member of 4 Ohio Athletic Conference champion teams during the first half of the 1990s. Jim was also part of a pair of relays that competed at the NCAA Division III championships in 1993. In his sophomore season, he was an honorable mention All-American in both the 200 medley relay and 400 medley relay at the NCAAs, both times finishing in the top 12. The 1994 OAC Swimmer of the Year, he won all 7 events in which he competed that year. And at the time he graduated, he had his name next to 5 school records, the 100 fly, the 200 fly, and as a member of the 200 free relay, 200 medley relay, and 400 medley relay. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the John Carroll University Athletic Hall of Fame, from the class of 1995, Jim Petkunas.
Thanks, Chris. I'd like to start by thanking the university and the athletic department for the induction into the Hall of Fame. It's really quite an honor. I'd also like to congratulate all the other inductees. It's a real privilege to be inducted along with all these impressive athletes. So thank you for that. After getting the call from Chris with the news, I started reminiscing about my John Carroll years. It was about 24 years ago now since I've graduated, and certain memories are a little more clear than others. I started thinking through the history, and several memories did come to mind. When I first think about college, it's important to note how important swimming was and how big it was a part of my college years. When I started as a freshman, it gave me an immediate friend group and a social network. There was always something to do and someone to do that with outside the classroom. And I think from my experience from John Carroll, it was a great balance between academics and athletics and a great break from the classroom. So the second thing I remember is all the hard work in swimming. Hours upon hours in the pool, morning practices, afternoon practices. I have this very distinct memory of trying to balance morning practices and classes, and I was sitting and eating with Mark, the coach right now of the John Carroll team, and learned that they don't do morning practices anymore. So Mark, I wish I swam for you. So, as part of that, I remember as freshman year, I scheduled an 8 a.m. class, not knowing that, that was early. And, we would go to swim, we'd swim an hour before that, I'd go to class, and unfortunately, my 8 a.m. class was an art history class. And the first thing they would do is they would turn off the lights and they start showing slides. So for me, having probably stayed up too late, gone swimming, and then attending class, I fell asleep. So hopefully none of my professors are here. But it was really tough for me, and for some reason I always sat next to the radiator, which was real nice and warm and cozy. So again, it was like bedtime for me. So a trick, and I'll tell my kids this, is I used to take a lollipop to class. So every time in art history I'd have a lollipop in my mouth. That seemed to help me stay awake. So with all the hard work, I also remember the success we had. Our teams being repeated OAC champions was a really great accomplishment. And as I look back now, it's something for us all to be proud of. But probably my most distinct memories are of my teammates. All the great moments we had both in the pool and outside the pool. My fellow swimmer and teammate Joe Turry is here, and he's getting inducted. It's real special to be going in with him. Obviously, we swam a lot together, and congratulations, Joe. I'm glad I got to go first, so I can congratulate you. Myself, Joe, a couple other swimmers, Rich Farkas and Eric Rapp, we made up a medley relay team that had a really good run for a few years. We ended up qualifying and attending Division III Nationals with that relay. And again, I should thank Joe because I don't know how many people know this about swimming, but in our relay, Joe always went before me. And he's obviously a Division III nationally ranked swimmer. We were always ahead. So my job became a little easier, so thanks, Joe, for that. So really the entire experience with these guys and my coach, Matt Lenhart, is really a special memory and really one of the high points of my swimming career. So, the exact times I swam and where I finished isn't as clear to me, but the experience of going down with that team is very, very clear and a very distinct memory. So I wouldn't have these memories without the support of all the people in my life. So first I'd like to thank my parents, George and Rose. They're down here, and they came tonight. They decided to get me involved in swimming, I think around 7 years old. And as I thought about it and talked to my mom a little bit, I'm not exactly sure why they chose swimming for me. My parents they have a bunch of those old school videos of our family on 8mm. I don't know if the young people in the room won't know what that is, but hopefully some people do. So we would watch them from time to time. And there's this one clip of myself with I have two older sisters. We're at the pool on vacation. I was probably like 4 or 5, and apparently I was deathly afraid of water. I was clinging to my floaty and wouldn't jump in at all. So my mom tells me that's kind of how I started my swimming career. So it's a little embarrassing. Hopefully that footage stays trapped on 8mm and doesn't make it to social media, because it's kind of embarrassing. That's how I started. A Hall of Fame swimmer, I was afraid of water when I was 5. So, to my parents, the countless hours of driving to practice and attending meets, and if you're a swimmer, you have 2-day meets, you have prelims and finals, it's in the pools, are hot. It's not fun as a parent, I would assume. My sister was also a swimmer. She went to John Carroll as well. She swam for a few years, so I know my parents had double duty growing up with swimming. And I think as a kid, you don't realize your parents are investing that amount of time. Now I've got 3 kids. Who do all the sporting activities, and my wife and I are taxi cab drivers pretty much. And interestingly, none of them are swimmers. I failed on that front. They play different sports, but I know they like what they play. And they're all student athletes. So thank you, Mom and Dad. I'd like to thank my coach, Matt Lenhart. As I was looking to go to school and which colleges to go to, swimming wasn't kind of at the forefront for me. I came from a super intense high school program, and I was a little burned out. Wasn't overly excited about swimming, but that really changed once I joined the John Carroll team. Matt had a great philosophy, really helped get the best out of me as a swimmer, and really the entire environment that he created resulted in me having really my best years in my swimming career. So thank you, Matt Lenhart. I talked a little bit about my teammates earlier, but would like to thank them all. John Callahan's here today. Thank you, John. Swam with him for a few years. A big part of my success was the team, obviously, and we had a great group of men and women and really some great years. So lastly, I'd like to thank my family for being here tonight. My wife, Kelly, and daughters, Christina and Allie. My son, James, is playing football for Drexel Bees. I think they're winning, so that's good, but he's there tonight. And I did meet my wife, Kelly, at John Carroll, so John Carroll is just another way that my John Carroll experience had an impact on my life. So that's all I have. So thanks again.